accomplished over the last year, and we just wanted to showcase that today, and we hope we have many more of these opportunities to do that. So with that, I'll leave you over to Kelly. Yeah, I should do that. Yeah, we have no reportable action from closed session, as far as you know. And so we will reconvene our meeting. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name's Kelly Gerkensmeyer, here with Calaveras County Water District, the External Affairs Manager. And again, thank you all for coming. I really appreciate this. It's really great to see this room full and really excited about this presentation. This was going to be this board meeting, my external affairs update anyways, and I pitched to Michael a while back wanting to do a 2024 year in review. Thought it was a great idea, to see everything we've done. And then I really started looking back over the 56 different board meetings and committee meetings and realized it's going to be a way bigger presentation than I expected. So there's just so much to cover. We've done so much. And I also want this opportunity to kind of give a brief overview of our history, Calaveras County's history, and again, how Calaveras Water District came to be where it is today. So water has always been and continues to be a cornerstone in the development of Calaveras County. From the earliest days of mining, intricate ditch systems were engineered to divert water to the diggings, enabling not just the extraction of precious resources, but also the establishment of camps and towns that became the heart of Calaveras County. As mining flourished, so too did the logging industry, which relied heavily on the county's abundant water resources. Water was essential for powering these sawmills and sustaining the growing workforce that depended on this vital industry. Over time, both local and outside interests recognized this immense potential of the county's water resources. There's Copperopolis there back in the day. In 1945, California was undergoing significant changes. On the heels of World War II, the state was faced with many water challenges. Challenges such as post-war growth, urbanization, agricultural expansion, droughts, water security, and water rights regulations. Thus, the California Water Resources Control Board was created to improve statewide management of its water resources. I love this footage of Old Spicer. However, I'm pretty sure back in the day it was just called Spicer, but today we call it Old Spicer. But again, just absolutely love this footage. And it was really the late Senator Jesse Mayo of Angels Camp, the first senator of Calaveras County, who encouraged Calaveras County to take steps to protect its water rights before some distant government or some distant city decided to take those water rights. I was hoping, I'm not sure if he made it tonight, but the grandson of Senator Mayo is Tyler Mayo, the general manager of Blue Lake Springs Mutual Water District. And I think it's just amazing that he is also in the water industry, and especially with his great grandfather really encouraging Calaveras County to secure the water rights that it did. It is apparent that the citizens of Calaveras County were concerned with the current water issues in this state. And on November of 1946, by an overwhelming majority, the voters of Calaveras County created the Calaveras County Water District. The Calaveras County Water District is a special district and was formed for the purpose of preserving, protecting, and enhancing its natural water resources and developing its hydroelectric power capabilities. Soon after the formation of the district, planning began for the development of water resources of Calaveras County. CCWD directors and staff were trailblazers, securing the county's water rights while innovatively planning future hydropower projects. The earliest water right application was filed on March 24th, 1947. During the 1950s, CCWD really started to conceptualize water development projects throughout the county. George Huberty, a fifth-generation Calaveras County resident and CCWD's general counsel, was instrumental in securing Calaveras County's water rights. He successfully negotiated a settlement with East Bay Mud, generating $2 million and preserving water rights in Calaveras County. In addition, Mr. Huberty negotiated crucial property easements, which were the backbone of the North Fork Stanislaus River hydroelectric project. With the generation of funds and secured water rights, CCWD was able to move forward with water resources development planning in Calaveras County. The district engaged Tudor Engineering to prepare a comprehensive water development plan for the Calaveras County's water resources. In 1959, preliminary reports and plans were submitted, demonstrating the plan's feasibility. In August of 1961, Tudor Engineering submitted the final feasibility report and plan for the Calaveras County Water Resources Development. The plan was a multi-purpose plan aiming to expand the county's agricultural area, develop recreational facilities, supply adequate domestic water services, and the development of hydropower. I absolutely love this map. Again, it's a 1961 map of our county. And so I had to take a look at it, clean it up, and just dive deep into it and see what it all meant. And starting up top, you'll see it's just amazing. You know, there's Spicer, there's Union, there's Utica, and there was going to be tunnels and power plants all throughout the stand. You'll see there's A and B. There was two different phases, phase A and phase B. And interestingly enough, the project that was built was actually phase A of this exact plan from 1961. Going down a little bit lower, another remarkable section here. You know, there was going to be pipelines and canals and conduits moving water from the stand into the central part of Calaveras with all sorts of different reservoirs, as we were expecting an enormous amount of agricultural boom at that time. Up north too, same thing. Some of these interesting reservoirs. One that really sticks out to me is that Forest Middle Fork Reservoir right below Shads. And really that reservoir would have kind of backed up into Shads, almost increasing Shads capacity by quite a bit. I mean, I think it was still going to be separate, but as you can see, some of these reservoirs were supposed to be a lot bigger than they are today. And then down the lower part, Copperopolis at the time, much smaller than it is today. And there was a proposal for the Black Creek Reservoir. Another part of this map that I kind of enjoy looking at is it's before New Maloney's was built. And so it's just kind of interesting dating back that far. The 1960s and 1970s were marked by extensive water resource planning efforts. In 1963, the first power license was filed, followed by lawsuits over water in the mid-1960s. And in 1966, the Water Board issued key permits. And by the 1970, compliance with emerging environmental laws became a central focus. I would like to read a portion of the 1978 resolution once the agreement was in place to construct the North Fork Stanislaus hydroelectric project. This resolution was in February of 1978, so just a few months before I was born. I think it's kind of cool. So here it is. The intent of the Board of Directors of the Calaveras County Water District is to disperse and utilize the funds equally within the county to encourage the development of water resources locally for the benefit of the people of Calaveras County and its future generations. Since its founding in 1946 by the citizens of Calaveras County, CCWD has remained steady in its mission to preserve, protect, and enhance our precious water resources. This mission is not just what we do, it defines who we are as a community. The North Fork project stands as a testament to that identity. It represents years of vision, collaboration, and dedication. After decades of planning, perseverance, and hard work, the North Fork Stanislaus River hydroelectric project was completed in 1990. This project is more than infrastructure, it's a legacy, a symbol of what we can achieve when we come together with purpose and resolve. It reminds us that our collective efforts today will shape the future of our community for generations to come. This is when you can still smoke in the boardrooms. I found that resolution. They did away with that. Thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to take that brief look back and illustrate how we got here. There's so much more to the story and the history of our infrastructure. I look forward to that in another event. But there's a lot to cover, so just in the last year, so let's get started. The 2024 year in review. Let's get started with the construction projects. And I couldn't think of any other word to say other than wow. When I started going through this and seeing what our construction crews and our engineers are working on and the inspectors, and throughout the last year, bugging the inspectors to send me pictures and never feeling like I had enough pictures, but then as I go through them, there's just almost too many to go through. So here we go, 2024 year in review. We're going to start in Copperopolis and its amazing lift station network. Out of the 47 lift stations we have across our service areas, just 32 of them are in Copperopolis alone. And they pump in sequence all the way around Lake Tulloch to the Copper Cove water treatment plant. So one of these projects I'm going to show you now is our Copper Cove lift station and force main project. And it involved installing 5,000 feet of 6-inch and 1,000 feet of 4-inch sewer force main. As part of the upgrades, 4 existing sewer lift stations were demolished and replaced with modern facilities. These new facilities included advanced wet wells, sewer pumps, piping, and valves. They're equipped with updated electrical motor controls, SCADA systems, transformers, automatic transfer switches, and backup power generators. When I toured these just recently, I was really amazed too with how they even constructed them in such tight quarters. Some of the area down there in Poker Flat was just so tight, and it's just really remarkable how they did that and how good it looks. Now we go up to West Point and the Wilseyville Consolidation Project. This project focused on substantial upgrades to the wastewater infrastructure for the Wilseyville and West Point areas. Key components included the construction of a 6-inch sewer line and a new pump station with 3,500 feet of force main connecting Wilseyville to the West Point wastewater treatment plant. And thank you, TUD, for just, I think it was a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and you guys came out and toured the facility. Appreciate that. Thank you.
So this is our sludge dewatering area. What these bins are for is there's a special type of bag that goes into these bins, and imagine putting like water through a sock. The sock is going to filter out stuff, you know, solids that can stay within the sock, and the water is going to bleed out of the sock. And this is how we do or how we're going to do sludge dewatering. Basically, these two lagoons over here will be our sludge lagoons. And when it gets time for, as the sludge layer kind of creeps up, we can pump this sludge into these red bins that we just looked at and add a little bit of polymer to the sludge that will help coagulate the solids into chunks. And off of that, the water can kind of be released from the sludge to go back into the system. Okay, so this device is a screening device. West Point is mainly septic tanks, and what our process at the wastewater plant is to treat the liquid that comes off of the septic tanks that usually goes to the leach field. Well, once in a while, we'll go around, survey all the septic tanks, and then pump the septic tanks. And what this allows us to do is bring the solids here from those septic tanks, run it through this screening unit, and then the sludge that is coming off of those septic tanks can go into these lagoons. Basically, we're just trying to get all the trash that people flush down their toilets out of the septic and process, it's easier to process without all the trash in there.
Still up in West Point, we also have our water treatment plant, the backup filter. I think this project description is in the name itself, backup water filter. And again, I will let our plant operations manager, Jesse Hampton, explain the rest to you.
We are in West Point at our water treatment plant. This is our brand new filter that we just installed this last year. Basically, we have this filter for redundancy. The one thing for West Point was for quite a while, we only had one filter up here. And as you can see, one filter, if something goes wrong with it, puts us in kind of a bind. So the project was to add a second redundant filter that we can now use. And for any maintenance purposes, for either filter, we can still keep water flowing to the town of West Point.
I told you, it's a lot of projects. It's a lot of construction, a lot of pictures, a lot of stuff. Again, it wasn't all done last year. Some of these are multi-year projects, but we finished these last year, and again, it's just remarkable. So let's take a tour down to Copperopolis. So this is the Copper Cove V tank. The site originally housed 2 tanks, including one of the last 2 remaining Redwood tanks still in service across the district. This project involved replacing the Redwood tank up here at the V tank site with a modern welded steel tank, while also refurbishing the second tank, replacing its roof, and applying a fresh coating. See your treatment plant in the background. Good vantage point, gives it some perspective. Now we have the Copper Cove and Jenny Lind clear wells. So although clear wells may look like tanks, they serve very different purposes than typical storage tanks in our distribution system. Technically, they are tanks, but their role is unique. Clear wells are where the final stages of the treatment process take place. At Copper, a new clear well was constructed, while at Jenny Lind, the existing clear well was rehabilitated with a new roof and new coating. Kind of see off to the side, it's going to zoom in here. That's the site of the clear well before we even really started. This is the Jenny Lind clear well. That's what it looks like inside now. I came across the original construction of this clear well in, I believe, 1990, 1991. And in this video, you saw all those houses in the background. In that original video, you didn't see any of those houses. You didn't see one house. And now, when I see it now, there's just all those houses back there. So something that stuck out to me, and I found that video not too long ago of the original construction. And then we have our Jenny Lind A to B transmission main construction project. That started late in 2024, so that's ongoing. This pipeline replacement project will replace an 8-inch asbestos cement pipe from the 1970s. The new system will include 20,000 feet of 12-inch and 14-inch ductile iron pipeline between tanks A and tank B. This project includes 5 pressure reducing stations, air relief valves, gate valves, fire hydrants, and modifications to the piping at tank A and B. And one thing I can definitely tell you is that ground down there is incredibly hard. And so we're constructing all that stuff last year, but again, our engineers are working on design constantly, and this is impressive. You know, this is just more projects and pipelines in the pipeline. I think, Russ, you wanted us to have something. You said pipelines in the pipeline. I remember you said it in one board meeting, so that stuck with me. But again, these are all the projects that they've been working on throughout the year and how what percentage they are in design. So again, remarkable. And these are going to be the next projects that hopefully you all will be here witnessing the completion of and the construction of. So. All right, operations department. One thing I wanted to pass around for this one is some of this blue belt. So if you want, here's just something to look like it should do like. So if you guys ever hear us talking about blue belts, that's what we're talking about. So over the past year, without a doubt, one of the highlights of the board meetings is the monthly operations report. The director of operations, Damon Wyckoff, does such a good job illustrating and describing the work efforts of the operations department. When I was creating and contemplating how I could ever do those reports justice, I just tried to capture it all. That is literally every picture from your department reports over the last year, plus some. And I hope some of the staff that's here today recognize some of those shots or some of those infrastructure that you worked on. It was tricky trying to find the exact time to where you saw it. You didn't, it didn't give you a seizure, but you kind of, you got a glimpse of what they do. So thanks, Damon, for those reports. They're just amazing. And we have our utility crew, another great crew. And what you see there is some of our older 1-inch service lines that are just over the years, we've had to put repairs on them, similar to this. You might dig down next to it. Luckily, we have that back truck, so you don't necessarily know if there's a repair close to it. So you might just, unfortunately, in the middle of the night, put on a repair. And this utility crew is really taking us away from that and moved us more towards starting to replace these lines. This crew is one-stop shop. They do everything from the main line to the meter, and then also complete the paving. And it's really great what they're accomplishing. Down there too, another component that I think that's really going to help our distribution systems is just having a corp stop. A lot of our service lines, we have no way to shut them off to make these repairs. So these guys are now doing a planned outage, going in there and doing a whole street or sections of these streets at a time. And it's really, I think, going to make a big difference in the long run. As great as that back truck is, and it's great, take a look at how muddy these guys get. But I don't think we trade that piece of equipment for the world. It's worth getting muddy for the kind of work we can do. And the trench that they're digging right now, there's gas line in there as well. So that's why they're using it. And so it's not only more efficient, but it's much, much safer. This particular service line is down on Baldwin. The collection crew doing the dirty work. I don't think we talk enough about this crew. The work that they perform is a type of work that not just anybody can even handle doing. Remember the lift stations that I was talking about earlier? This crew is responsible for inspecting all 47 of those lift stations at least once a week. That's 2,444 inspections of those lift stations last year. When's the last time you guys were in an 8-inch sewer line? I think we were talking about that earlier for the smoke testing and all that. So taking a look in one of our sewer lines. So there's also going to be some stuff that you might not want to see, or you don't know what it is. This is the PSA. Please don't flush wipes down the toilet. That's what they do. These are some of the older dry cans that we're replacing down there. So all the pumps were down there, and to go down and do any maintenance, hold on C5, very challenging. These new pump stations, we can now maintain them from above.
So today we're cleaning one of the sand filters at La Quintana wastewater treatment plant. There's 4 of them. 3 of them are currently working. 1, 2, 3 are working. This one has gotten plugged up with sand and sludge over the years. We've got our man Joe in the hole right now. All of our confined space entry. Here we have to suck it out about 20 feet down inside of here, and then go underneath it and clean all of that out also. This big cone. I hope you can hear me okay with the truck. Yeah, that filter cone underneath that is where all the sludge is at. You have to access it from where Joe is at. It's quite the job.
It doesn't do it justice.
Takes
I had
quite
to extract his voice
an
and do
effort
weird
to get
stuff
all this
because you
set
couldn't
up,
hear him
so
over the back truck. The back truck
quite
is
the
very, very
confined
loud.
space. So what Joe was showing you there, which is kind of hard, is that he goes down in that for about 20 feet. And then you have to go under this. There's about a 3.5 foot cavity underneath this. And that's all full of sand. So that's what we're going to be doing now. Is Joe's going to go back, down, and over and start cleaning underneath all of this. I know it's hard to hear because of the truck, but Joe is currently underneath this. See this filter down in the guts of this filter underneath there. You can't see him. He's under there right now.
It's quite the job.
Where we ask if anybody's motion.
It's all up to, they do a good job of that. You know, these guys are trained in C5 entries and they know what they're doing. The construction crew. I just got to say that I think we probably have one of the most talented operators around. I'm pretty sure that he was running equipment before he could even walk. Not just him, the entire construction crew is just amazing. When those guys are finished with the project, it looks like a park. It just looks beautiful. One of the projects that they just wrapped up this year was the White Pines Thule project. It was a 3-year project. We did allow, some scenic paddleboarding while they did the work. That was an extra. But this footage is from, I think, last year or maybe even the year before, but they just wrapped it up. And if you guys ever get a chance to see White Pines now, so much more shoreline. It just looks amazing. And they're fast, but not that fast. The spillway at White Pines is completely full of tules, and I haven't seen it that clear since I was a kid. And now it looks amazing. It really, really looks nice. Another quick, not a quick project. It was a big project. It was a new PRV up in Big Trees, again, with the construction crew working in collaboration with the distribution crew. This project was completely designed and installed and everything in-house. The PRV was pre-made in the vault and everything, and they had to bring out all sorts of equipment and drop it in. Really, really great advancement in the infrastructure up there and really great collaboration between departments. This particular location, this PRV scared me for a lot of years, and it's really, really nice to see it modernized and in the shape it is in now. We get a lot of, like, what is a PRV? I mean, for us, these pressure reducing valves, sorry if I keep saying PRV, it's a pressure reducing valve, but from here on out, I'm going to call it a PRV. They're amazing. They hydraulically pretty much monitor the downstream pressure, constantly modulating and monitoring it through the pilot system, 24/7, 365. They're absolutely the backbone of our distribution system. Throughout our distribution system, countywide, we have hundreds and hundreds of these. They're everything to us. And the topography that we operate in and the mountainous terrain, for pressure control, we are so dependent on these. And again, we have a lot of them, and some of them are breaking down huge amounts of pressures. And when I say that, you might have 200 plus coming in. Well, this pressure reducing valve is going to put out 90, 100, whatever the rest of the system depends on. So I think this is kind of a cool way of looking at it. And again, that thing's just going to modulate and can keep that nice even pressure going into your home and into the system. So there's the inside of a PRV. You got to see the inside of a sewer line, now inside of a PRV. Customer service. All right, so numbers don't capture how fantastic our customer service team truly is. While metrics like call volumes, work orders, and reported leaks, they're very important, they don't reflect the real value of what our team does every single day. Our customer service representatives are the face and heart of CCWD. They're there for our customers in moments of need, solving problems, offering support, and providing peace of mind. Their dedication and care are the difference. And I'm just super proud. Every time I do my little rounds and go see customer service up there, answering phone calls, doing what they do with a smile. I came out here the other day and one of our representatives was helping the sweetest little elderly man. I was get hooked up on our portal, and she was so patient with him, and they were there for quite a while. And it's just so, that's really refreshing to see. And again, I don't think numbers do what they do justice. Then there's the IT department. I have no idea what those guys do, but I know it's really, 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 really important. My office is right next to them, and all I know is when anything breaks, these guys fix it. And here's some of their numbers. And again, I'm assuming these are a lot of, 46,000 files protected. Again, this is in 2024, right? 950 vulnerabilities remedied and 15,000 network security blocks. Don't know what that means, but I'm pretty sure it's important. But that's not just in the 2024, that's just monthly. I was supposed to say monthly. I'll do it on this one. All right, email security. They set up this new thing and we get all these crazy alerts now. And we have to check our emails, and it seemed like it was this pain it was a pain. However, I wouldn't want to have it not be that way now, because then you really realize what's coming at us. And again, messages, 20,000, 3,000 stopped messages, 2,200 bulk messages, all these spam and phishing and all this stuff would be coming if they didn't put this in place. And again, this is 2024. No, it's monthly. I'm sorry, I told Rebecca I would say it like tractor truck guy. I feel kind of weird now, but I did it. All right, the AeroFire. I wanted to have this earlier in the presentation, but really I think this segues into the next portion after it. So it's in this section. On June 17th, 2024 at 3:29 p.m., a wildfire broke out near Arrow Road and Hunt Road in Copperopolis. Within hours, it spread from 30 acres to over 5,000 acres, forcing evacuations. By nightfall, over 5,100 people had to evacuate, and Highway 4, along with several other roads, were shut down. Thousands also lost power. The AeroFire is a stark reminder of how quickly wildfires can escalate. Thanks to swift emergency response, damage was limited, but the impact was still significant.
Yeah, he just was making a circle and getting a spotter in front of it. Oh boy. Oh, there he goes, pulling out. Oh man, they can put some borate down. Holy mackerel. Got it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a dandy. There's fire everywhere around this tank. The main concern is trying to keep it out of town.
Really hats off to Damon and his crews. I can't say enough about how hard these crews work during events like this. Round the clock, no matter what it takes, fueling up generators, fixing generators, towing generators, keeping the water going, just the water operators, everybody. I was able to see Damon in firsthand in action too, going to the EOC and just really man, it was impressive. Scary, but very impressive.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Damon Wyckoff. I'm the Director of Operations for the Calaveras County Water District. Behind me here is our Coppertown tank. So this was directly impacted, as you can see, from the Arrow fire. Hats off to CAL FIRE and the first responders for saving this tank site. This tank site is critically important to Old Town Copperopolis. And we're just truly indebted to the first responders and to CAL FIRE for keeping this tank in service. It provides water supply also to Town Square, so it's critically important in the overall water supply for the community of Copperopolis. As you can see, bolted steel tanks weather wildfires much better than redwood tanks do, and the district over the years has worked to replace all but one of their redwood tanks throughout all of our service areas. And so this is clearly an indication of why welded steel or bolted steel tanks are important to the overall potable water supply for all of our service areas. Once again, Coppertown tank, Old Town Copperopolis. So this is our Reed's Turnpike pump station. Our Reed's Turnpike pump station conveys water from our C zone, which is in this direction here to the west, into Old Town Copperopolis to what's called Copper Tank. And as you can see, we have a generator here because there was no power during the Arrow fire to allow us to use this pump station to push water from C into Copper Tank. And so this generator proved critically important in continuing to convey water to Copper Tank so that CAL FIRE could pull water from Copper Tank to protect the immediate Old Town Copperopolis. And so this is a critically important potable water pump station, and just hats off to our distribution and our electricians and all the crews that worked to put this generator online and to keep this pump station going throughout the duration of the Arrow fire. Great job. I am here in the Copper Cove Water Treatment Facility in Copperopolis. And my request to you here in the community of Copperopolis is that you please conserve water. We are coming out of the midst of the Arrow fire, and I just would ask that you be sensitive to the fact that there has been a considerable amount of water use in your community, and that as we push forward towards normalcy, I would ask that you can conserve water as much as possible. That will allow CAL FIRE to continue to do the excellent work that they are doing and allow CCWD to continue to provide you with safe, potable, healthy, reliable water service. Thank you.
I'd also like just to talk about a few partnerships that we've been working on over the last year. In particular, the Highway 4 Regional Partnership. It's a collaborative effort among water agencies in the Highway 4 corridor, and has been working for years to protect our community's water supply. The partnership is composed of CCWD, the Union Public Utility District, City of Angels, and the Utica Water and Power Authority. Really, the importance of this partnership was underscored during the 2001 Darby Fire, which exposed the vulnerabilities of our water systems along the Highway 4 corridor. This is the majestic and wonderful flume that feeds the Utica, Utica's flume, and it feeds UPUD and City of Angels. Like roughly 10,000 people depend on this flume. And during the Darby Fire, when it did burn, and that fire burned 14,000 acres and over 3,000 feet of wooden flume and ditch were destroyed during that. And in the days after, this was, I think, the day after, this was maybe on the 11th, somebody gave me this, or passed on this report. And what I didn't realize when I started looking at the report, besides the amazing mullet of the water tender driver, I noticed that's me when I was like only started working here 6 months. I've only been here 6 months. And we had this crazy fire going on, and flume was burned, and there was all these efforts to get water down the hill. And in this report, it talks about the water tenders, and they were working around the clock, filling up off hydrants in our Ebbets Pass system and taking it down to the After Bay in Murphy's. Truck after truck after truck. We also rigged up some fire hydrants, also in Forest Meadows, and ran those down to the flume. A couple, I think 8-inch lines, again, running around the clock. Finally, they were able to get some pumps hooked up and run the water through these pumps over the major burn scar. But in that report, that's just this section. There was also, down in Angels Camp, they were drilling wells in old mine shafts. I even found that they were contemplating backfeeding the slurry line from CPUD's service area to see how far up they can maybe get water. They never did that, but when I read that, that's remarkable. Just all the things that were contemplated to get water to these communities. I believe those communities were out 10 months before the flume was able to be rebuilt. But at that time, it was all hands on deck of how we can help our neighbors down below. And so we did everything we could. And this is a great partnership that is really, it's been going on for years, but it really is ramping up in the last year. And I think that's fantastic. In that report, I happened to stumble across one of our own, Bertha Underhill, I think, doing some inspections of the rebuild, making sure the lumber was good and sound. I thought that was just great when I came across those. So yeah, she was our inspector at the time, making sure everything was put back right. So it should be okay for a while. And then there's also plans for the Blue Mountain Electric Company to construct a biomass facility on CCWD's property adjacent to our West Point treatment plant. The possibilities and benefits are quite intriguing. I'm often asked, what exactly is a biomass plant? What do they look like? What do they do? And so to get a better understanding, I recently toured one of their facilities. This facility is down in North Fork, down by Bass Lake. And I'll let this fine gentleman explain to you and show you what they are, because he can do it better than I can.
And I am with Phoenix Energy, and we are the developer and co-owner of the North Fork Community Power Plant, which stands behind me. This plant is a 2 megawatt biomass gasification plant that was really an idea that was created by the community and a number of other communities we serve around California as a way to create jobs, to restore a forest economy, but also, and increasingly more importantly, to provide a defense and a risk reduction of catastrophic wildfire by providing an outlet for forest biomass that prevents pile and burn approaches, masticate and scatter, and just basically helps encourage an environment where it makes sense to do forest stewardship by providing that outlet for the woody material. So this plant here, 2 megawatts, will make about 15 million kilowatt hours a year. That's enough for about 1,600 homes. And it's a 24/7 facility. We expect to operate with about 7,700 hours a year, and we'll provide living wage jobs for 12 to 14 people here directly at the plant, and that's perhaps one of our proudest achievements, is that creation.
We're wrapping up. We're getting close there. We're almost done. But, you know, we did a substantial amount of public outreach and engagement last year, something that I really, really enjoy doing. I feel incredibly lucky to have the opportunity to get out in the community and share the CCWD story with everyone. It's such a rewarding experience to teach people how important our water and wastewater infrastructure is for the community. And I just love it. This last year, I got to go to the high school several different times for job fairs. I even got to go to dinner with a scientist. I got invited to be a scientist, and there's some people that I've talked to that say I'm not a scientist, and I understand that, but I got to be a scientist for that evening, no matter what anybody says now. Like I said, we got this booth down. We're quick, we're efficient. This is at the frog jump last year. 4 days of fun and some pretty lively conversations, but good. This is at a Firewise event up in Ebbets Pass, and at that time they were trying to work with all the subdivisions to become Firewise, and the particular one that I live in, Meadowmont, wasn't Firewise. And since that event, it is now Firewise. And Martha Rubin, who puts that event on, was supposed to be here tonight, but she's sick. But that's something I'm really proud of, that they're getting these communities to be Firewise. And then there's the Arnold 4th of July Parade. Bertha, this might be the last time I get to do the 4th of July Parade with you.
Well, good morning. I'm Bertha Underhill, and I'm the CCWD Water District Director for Ebbets Pass, and I've been in this position for the last 12 years, and so I'm just so proud to be here at our annual 4th of July Parade. And even though it's July 7th, it is July the 4th as far as Ebbets Pass is concerned. Just wonderful to see all the participants in the parade, and everybody has a big smile on their face, and I'm just, again, so thrilled to be here. Thank you. See you later. Drink lots of water.
That was not our water truck. I got a hard time for that. That wasn't ours. They just happened to be behind us. So that was a private water truck, not affiliated with CCWD. We had somebody say, we're paying for what they're spraying. It was not us.
happens to be on the 7th. We don't care. This is Ebbets Pass. We love it, and we're happy to serve you.
So before I wrap up, it has been an absolute honor to showcase not just the history of CCWD, but the incredible dedication that fuels our daily operations. At the heart of everything we do is our staff, the hardworking individuals who make it all happen. From our water and wastewater operators to our construction utility crews, mechanics, electricians, and our purchasing agent. These are the people who keep the system running. Our administrative, engineering, and customer service teams ensure efficiency and connection with our community. Our IT professionals safeguard our infrastructure, while our finance and HR staff provide the backbone of support that keeps CCWD strong. And behind it all is our executive assistant, board to the clerk, who not only keeps the board members in line, but ensures that in coordinating all 56 of those board meetings and committee meetings go off flawlessly. So thank you. CCWD is not just about infrastructure and resources, it's about the people. Their dedication, expertise, and passion really make everything possible.
It might be a simple one, but looking for a meter box in about 12 feet of snow up in Dorrington. And we had no idea where it was, and it took us 3 days.
Now, did you find the right box or did you find the neighbor's box?
We found the neighbor's box first, and then we eventually found the right box.
And why did we have to find that box?
We had to find that box because a house exploded due to a propane leak, and the water was continuously running, and that's it.
No, my favorite work memory is rolled up into a lot where we work up at our elevation. The snowstorms, the challenges of keeping everything open and running, and just the crazy stuff that you see every day.
My favorite work memory with CCWD is probably the all-nighters and the large-scale projects that we've completed and look back on.
Favorite work memory might be not work related, but doing the kids day at work. We brought all of our kids to work one day and did a tour of the Hunter's water treatment plant facility, and then went to White Pines Lake and had a barbecue and swam and stuff. It was a really good time.
Basically, when there's an emergency that goes on, like at nighttime, and you're called, you know that everyone else is sleeping, and you know that you're there to help, and to, like a water main broke, and we went out and used the equipment and fixed the water main, and that's one of my fond memories of working here.
Favorite memory working with CCWD is probably going out in the storm events when it snows and stuff like that, when things get really busy, and we do storm response. We go out and make sure the generators are running and everything's up and running. So that's usually one of my better memories. Going out and having to cut down trees to get into a piece of property and get to your equipment. That makes it kind of fun.
Winning the step challenge this year. 900,000 plus. I don't remember the actual number.
What place did you get?
I took first place. I won it. I beat Kelly and Kate.
It's great working here. The work environment is great. The locations are awesome. A lot of beautiful country to see, and the work is very rewarding. A lot of challenging projects. It's fun to get completed.
Being it's close to my home, and I grew up in Murphy's, California, and me and my family live here in San Andreas, California, that I'm able to go out and serve my community, and especially asked out in the community what we do. I could verify all the hard work CCWD does to keep water and the facilities going.
The collaboration between departments and working to be successful at our projects, whether it be with our field staff or office staff, we strive to be as successful as we can.
I would say I like working with CCWD due to the camaraderie of employees, inner workings between different parts of the district, between collections to treatment to distribution, and making sure that the water is always flowing.
I think one of the things I like about the job, it gives me an opportunity to give back to the community. I've actually worked around water a little bit in the past, so had some familiarity there. Sometimes I just feel like it makes a difference, so it's kind of nice.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you all for coming. With that, meeting's adjourned, but check all these girls' pockets for cookies. They have. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Thank you. Yeah.